for the dream that we had birthed in our hearts. But over the years 2013 and 2014, Jody and I committed to give 33% of our income to our local church in Fredericksburg, Virginia, that was building its first permanent facility. That was in addition to the 10% we already brought as the tithe. So 43% of my police officer salary and 43% of her nursing salary went to our local church in an effort to help fund this new building. In addition to that, in 2014, Jody started a new business called Rodan+Fields. And we said we were going to give 20% of everything we made with Rodan+Fields away. 10% to the church as the tithe, and 10% to a local charity or a cause we felt worthy of supporting during that particular month. And when we started that business, I told people from the beginning it was about the money, because the money funds things like this. And in the Bible it says, and I think Pastor Tony or Pastor Rich could correct me if I'm wrong, but there's one place in the Bible that God asks you to test him, and it's in his finance, and it's in your finances. And so we weren't testing him to get something from him. We were trying to build a dream. And we gave because we get to give, not because we give to get. And that's what our pastor taught back in Virginia. You get to give, you don't give to get. So we got to give. We committed to a certain amount that would put us through some hard times in our marriage, especially when we were buying beanie weenies and whatever else you can find to live off of when you have no money, because it's all going to the local church. And I would get mad at Jody because Jody, if you don't know Jody, Jody's the most faithful, believing person you'll ever meet. And she's wonderful, and she keeps me in line. But when I would get mad at the end of the week because we didn't have any freaking money, and we'd have to go put an order of groceries on a credit card that was nearly maxed out, she would just say, God told us to do it. He's going to come through. And man, he came through in a big way. And in 2013, when we had this dream birthed in our heart, we were actually going through a study called Living the Dream. And it was written by Daniel Floyd. It's a book written by our former pastor, Daniel Floyd. And it really calls you to your purpose in this life, to fulfill your purpose. And I always tell our team with Rodan+Fields this, and it's a quote by T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes says, if you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion. For your passion will lead you right to your purpose. And for Jody and I, our purpose was our little girl. Andy was born with intellectual disabilities that were going to keep her from going out and probably finding a conventional wisdom job. And what I knew as a police officer were the people that got taken advantage of the most were the intellectually disabled. And for Jody, at the time, she was a sexual assault nurse, and she knew that intellectually disabled kids were likely to be taken advantage of in a sexual assault situation. And we didn't want that for our daughter, and we didn't want it for any other intellectually disabled person. So in working through this book that Pastor Daniel wrote, we decided that our dream was to open up some sort of facility that would give Andy a safe haven to work as she got older. And that safe haven was going to be a 5-run dog kennel. And then God blew the doors off, to be honest with you. I mean, it was unbelievable what he did in our life through the business of Rodan+Fields that Jody worked so hard at to fund this dream. And what started as a 5-run dog kennel and a 20-year dream down the road turned into this 30-run dog kennel just 3 years later. And it was because God blessed it, and there's no hesitation of us to proclaim what we believe to be true. We know that God is big, and that God has got this building in his hands. And we also knew that at that point, when God was blowing the doors off of Jody's facility, or Jody's company, that we knew God had something more for us. And it wasn't just to employ Andy as an intellectually disabled person, it was to employ a whole community of intellectually disabled people. So that's what we're going to do here. That's what this building is for. This building is for us not only to have a business, and not only to give people hope when they bring a dog in that needs to be fixed, but this facility is a safe haven for the intellectually disabled to be able to work as they grow older and as they can come in and find their purpose in life. And so not only did God open up the door to be able to do that, But God is opening some doors, and we're going to build a therapeutic equestrian facility up here on the hill. And it's going to provide therapeutic horse riding to those with intellectual disabilities, the PTSD, the wounded warrior, the autistic child, the sexual assault victim, to those who have been hurt in some way, because we know what horse riding has done for Andy as an intellectually disabled person. And if you don't believe it, I think T.R. Potts is here, and probably one of the best humans you'll ever meet. But T.R. will tell you what a horse can do for an individual like Andy, and it's really changed her life. So we're going to open up an equestrian facility, and it's going to give the people who feel like they don't have legs because they're in a wheelchair, they can get on a horse and feel like they have legs. It's going to be for the autistic child, like I said. It's going to be for the PTSD, the wounded warrior. It's going to be for all those people, because that's what it's about. We've been blessed tremendously, and there is no doubt about it. But we're going to pour out that blessing as much as we can. And so that's what's coming next, that facility. And then we're going to build a house on the other end of the property. And it's going to have a 3rd floor, and people are probably going to say that, wow, that's a big house, and you're showing off, or you're crazy. But what people don't know is that 3rd floor is going to take in foster families. And that 3rd floor is going to be able to not break up an emergency foster care situation. We may adopt more kids. Our heart is into that. As long as they don't cry. But that's what this facility and this farm is going to be. And it's going to do great things, not for our good, not just for our good, but for God's glory. And that's our hope, that's our prayer, and that's our mission as we move forward, not only with this facility, but in the facilities to come. We want to thank the Green Pond community. We have been welcomed with open arms, and want to thank everybody that's had a hand in this facility. Our builder is here, who did obviously you saw the craftsmanship. From our attorney that's here, who has protected this place. It's everybody, and a special thanks to Jody's Rodan+Fields team, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here.